Hey YouTube, this is Nashtaters. Welcome back to another episode of War of Divisions. So today I want to actually talk about a brand new unit that I'm working on, and hopefully you guys will kind of enjoy him because it's a unit that I looked at a long time ago and I really thought that because of his TMR I really wanted to get it. And on top of it, this guy has been pretty good. Like, we faced him in challenge and he has proven that he can do a lot of damage, but he is probably going to be one of those squishy types. And I think it goes without saying, any soldier in this game most likely is the squishy type. But I feel like not many people really talk about him and not many people really look at him. So in this video, I'm going to see if you guys are going to be interested in me building him. In fact, I actually already started the process. So let's go ahead and get into taking a deeper look at my main man for this hour, Schuzilt. So today we're going to be taking a look at Schuzilt. But before we go into further details, let's talk about a little bit of news. And this is more of a personal news. So as I mentioned before, one of my friends who've been playing this game for a while now, recently he tried to get Eldaira. I think he told me he spent upwards of 54,000 gems. Now, he's a free-to-play player, and he doesn't get to play it at work. So at his work, he's busy enough that he really doesn't have time to look at his phone. And so he tried to get Eldaira, couldn't get her. He was at the point where he wanted to walk away from the game. I convinced him, hey, why don't you just, not think about it too much. Everybody has to go through some time of that, a little bit of heartbreak, right? As you guys saw recently in my video when I was trying to get little Leela, I kind of experienced some of that myself. And of course, my fiance, when she tried to get Ketone, she spent what, 40, well, technically speaking, I spent her Physiors 44,000, 40 something thousand. She was able to get it, but it left her no room to build her. In fact, she still has not finished building that unit. But since then, she's gotten a lot of other units, and she's kind of started working on those other units. But she still wants to finish her, she told me. So whatever, I haven't seen her account in a long time, and maybe in the future we'll do another collaboration summon or something, but she hasn't really played that game that much either because of her work schedule and whatnot. So anyways, long story short, my friend ironically got Eldaira subsequently after the Eldaira banner, left the game. And during that time, we got the 100 free summons courtesy of producer. So on the second day, he got Eldaira on his free summons. And recently, he wanted to think about maybe summoning for one of the limited time units. And I told him, I'm getting little Leela, where hopefully I was going to get her. And he's like, well, the zombie guy looks kind of cool. So he was going to try to get him. And he summoned for him, I think. And he hasn't told me, what's going on with his account. I mean, I never seen his account, to be honest. And he was like, well, I got him, but I don't know if I want to keep playing the game. And I'm like, what's going on? Why? He's like, well, one, I don't really level too many of my units. I don't have the time to do so. He gets home from work. He has to spend time with his family, really. Maybe he plays for a little bit a day, right? Not really a whole lot. And he's like, well, I think it's just good to probably just to walk away from the game at this point. And I was like, well, I mean, if that's how you feel, you got to do what makes you happy. And he's like, well, why don't you just take over the account? And I'm like, listen, I'm already maining two accounts, right? One for the sake of YouTube, and the other one obviously is the one I'm playing, mainly. And I told him, I'm shifting in a different direction. And he's like, well, why don't you just at least talk about the zombie guy for a little bit, and then you can do what you want. Whether you can just leave the account idle or you can give it away. And that's what I think I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away his account. No, I already talked to a representative of Gumi, and they told me there's no terms of service violations if you give away your account. Ultimately, the person who created the account is still responsible for that account, obviously. But he gave me permission to have the account, and I told him, maybe I'll feature it sometimes in the future. And he told me in the meantime, he'll try his best to gather the shards and get that unit as high as possible so I can have a chance to feature it. So obviously, I don't know what's on his account, and I don't know how to feature it other than maybe just do a casual feature again. I don't like to use the word review anymore, simply because, you know, without proper equipment, without proper vision cards and things like that, even like earlier this week, I did the Sasha Arena highlight, and I realized that's not a good one. It isn't. One, because she probably isn't really geared towards PvP. She's more of a PvE unit, and she does great damage, by the way, in PvE content. So sometimes you just have to realize that some units is just not going to be built for specific situations. The zombie guy, however, is built for PvP. So I don't know what's on his account. I can't really say at this point if it's going to be a good feature or not. So I think going forward in the future, I'm just going to casually approach most reviews and whatnot, unless I'm confident enough to fully highlight that unit in terms of going forward and saying, hey, this is a great unit because everything here we have is clearly maxing out in terms of gear and whatnot, and I think this is the best feature of this unit. That's something, of course, is always going to be done with a disclaimer, right? I can only do what I can do based on what resources I have available to me. So that being said, people also know that I recently did that casual conversation regarding Super Sexy Stern, or KOR Stern as people call him. And he's level 89, and he's not going to be level 99 anytime soon. It takes a very long time. But there's an Eldyra on that account, and she will be level 99 very soon, probably in a week. So I think, again, I'm going to approach it from the perspective of just highlighting her in terms of doing some PvE content, doing some PvP content, with the knowledge that there's not a lot of good gear for her on that account. So what I'm going to do is, after I do that feature of that level 99 Eldyra, I'm going to be giving away that account alongside with the zombie account somewhere down the road. Perhaps you're thinking about re-rolling. We just had a recent person who commented on my channel saying that, you know, he spent, I think, what, 70,000 to get the Super Sexy Stern. Unfortunately, didn't get him and re-rolled. And some people are doing that. Like, they're willing to re-roll to get a better head start with units that they want. And ultimately, that's cool. Because, you know, you have to play this game the way you want to play it, and you have to play the game ultimately to make you happy. So I think that's kind of the premise here. If you're thinking about re-rolling, or you're a brand new player, now obviously we're going to do it based on an honor system, right? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a video talking about giving away that account, whatever that account is. And I'll just ask people to be subscribers, of course, makes sense. Also, tell me why you want to have that account. You know, you are a beginner and you want to start strong, or you're a re-roller and you want to just have access to it. Preferably, I don't want to give it away to somebody who just want additional accounts to play with. But at the same time, if that's going to be the case where people are going to put it to good use, then at least we're still going to keep them active, right? And if there's no interest in it, then I'll just go ahead and leave them idle. It's no big deal to me either way. So I think that's what the plan is for the future in terms of those accounts, and we'll get to them when we get to them. But let's move forward to this video in terms of talking a little bit about Shuzelt, and maybe go over a little bit of what my plan is for this free-to-play account in terms of, obviously we're approaching what, almost 7 months now, so we're gonna see maybe some other highlights on this account. Now obviously I already have him limit broken 4, and I just actually did it a couple of days ago, so I'm gonna start working slowly and tediously towards limit break 5. I have enough to awaken him, but I might have to wait a little bit, and because I want to finish Lorenzo first. Now obviously this is what attracted me to him, Doom. I want to have a full Doom team because it just seems so fun to me, right? I have Delita on this account, he can cast Doom, and with this weapon we can do Doom, and so it's going to be very interesting. Just have a full team of stops, Dooms, sleep, whatever. And I think that's going to be very interesting in terms of PvE, right? Because it's going to be a lot of fun. In terms of jobs, he's a soldier, a knight, and a ranger. So a lot of offensive capabilities, clearly because he's more of an offensive unit, and he's most likely a glass cannon. But what I am going to do is I'm going to finish building the ones that are almost done, because it doesn't make sense not to finish them. And obviously Venera will be done, Whisper will be done, and Whisper is probably the closest at 88 out of 200. And then the other one I really want to finish is Rain, because if I want to participate in certain events, rain will give me the best percentages to do that. Like rain is always good. Pretty much rain is good for all rays in my opinion. And I think getting him done makes total sense too, because I have Delita, and I think rain and Delita makes a pretty sweet ass combo. Like, I like to call them the twin red dragons. And I think that would be a nice feature in terms of arena, right? Because Rain is pretty potent in terms of arena. He's obviously very good in PvE. So it makes perfect sense for me to continue building him and finish him off before I go the route of not thinking about UR units at all. But for the future, I would not be thinking about any of these other URs. Like, I don't want to build him anymore. I don't want to build her anymore. Or pretty much any of these other units, right? Like Ketone, Victoria, all of these units. I have all of these units on my Spenders account, or now I'm going to call it, going forward, I'm going to call it my main account. Okay. So for me, I'm just going to keep concentrating on units that I feel like potentially could be viable for either PvE or PvP. But most of the time, I'm going to be picking units that are going to be viable for PvE. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, unless you have some specific unit you want me to potentially take a stab at, I'm just going to be building the ones that I like. Alright, so I think that's a lot of rambling for one video. So that's all the time I have for this video. And let me guys know what you guys think. Are you guys interested in taking some of the accounts that I've been having access to? Are you guys interested in other units you want to see being built on this specific account? And if you have any other suggestions, feel free to put in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoy my content, hit the subscribe button and take care of yourself, all your loved ones, Nashtaters, and his family out of here. Peace.